FC Naples has pulled off the unthinkable. Paul, we're hosting a playoff game next week. After beating Charlotte Independence 2-0, we get the results to fall in our favor. Omaha and Spokane play to a 2-2 draw. We're sitting in fourth spot to close out the season. What did you make there the final day of the season?
Yes, for one, I don't think calling it unthinkable to get to fourth. I just think it was the roller coaster. Um, like riding a roller coaster, there's the dips, but we ended up where we thought we were going to be, hosting a playoff game. The results bounced the way we needed them to. Um, I mean, if we lose to Charlotte, we end up having, instead of hosting, we're flying to Spokane next week. So the fact that Spokane was able to get a late goal to tie it. Um, when we made the second penalty kick, I think I texted you and said, "Hey, I'm flipping over to Union Spokane to watch these final, few minutes. Let me know if the result bounces back to 2-1." And that ending was great for us. They draw 2-2. Um, and yeah, I think the whole day watching the live table update was really cool. So it was a really fun final day of the season, and really you didn't see too much movement. South Georgia, I believe, jumped Portland, and we jumped Union Omaha. But at the end of the day, that's what we wanted. So I'll live with that.
Yeah, a really fun end of the season. Really fun last day. Fun to have all that on the line. Um, let's talk about our game for a minute here. First half, we're just gonna skip right over. I think there was one shot on goal the entire first half. They might have given. I think we had a header late on that they might have counted as a shot, but in my head, it's not really a shot. Second half, it kind of was early, still not a lot going, and then just two classic FC Naples goals, right? To hit them on the break. They give the ball away in the final third, and Max Glasser all over it, just bringing it down the wing, playing it into Carson Henderlong, finds him making a great run into the box, a true striker's goal in my opinion, and it was just felt so good to see him get back on the score sheet.
Yeah, I was getting worried there after a second goal that he was going to be sending me his boots to clean when he put up the six piece. But yeah, that was a brilliant build up. And then we get really fortunate, and I feel like we've talked about this sporadically all year, just these close calls that the ref points the spot. And I don't think that's the penalty that set up our second goal should have been a penalty, but there's been plenty of times this year that I've thought that we've given away penalties, including once against Union Omaha early in the year, that got penalties for. So it all evens out in the wash. I mean, I imagine that there was a sigh of relief in the stadium when Henderlong put that in, and then it was the scoreboard watching to make sure that Spokane could do their part to help us host.
Yeah, no Andres Farine in the lineup, which I think we might talk about here in a little bit. But it was kind of poetic in my head too as we scored this late penalty goal. If you look back to our first game ever as a franchise against Chattanooga, that goal came off of a penalty kick. So and a late penalty kick too at that 77th minute compared to this one 81st minute. So it was kind of, to start the season and end the season on penalty kick goals. It was it hit home for me. Like, oh my gosh, this has been what a ride this season has been. Yeah, 81st minute Henderlong penalty, like you said, I think it was soft. It happened right in front of me where I was standing. Yeah, but yeah, sometimes they fall, sometimes they don't. We get the penalty. We got to make the most of it. That's all we can do. We did. 2-0. We're sitting pretty. And then right after that goal went in, I had the Spokane game on my phone. Right after that goal went in for us, Spokane actually scored to make it 2-2. So a double celebration there with us in the beer garden once we saw that one had gone 2-2, also in the 81st minute.
Yeah, and that game had a lot of chances late. Like I really thought there was going to be a winner in that Spokane Union Omaha game. Um, Could have really been either side. So I'm glad the result held where it was, but I would not have been surprised if that game went 3-2 one way or the other. Um, and yeah, just like you said, it is poetic. I wonder how many seasons the first and last goal of the year are penalty kicks. I can't imagine that happens too frequently, but fortunate for us. And now it kind of all washes away everything that, the whole roller coaster, and it's looking forward to the next one. All we got to do is win one game four more times, and or three more times. Is that the math? We
Yeah,
got to win one
three.
game three more times.
Yep, need 3 more wins here, and we're walking away with the big trophy at the end of the year. Which who would have ever thought? I mean, especially when we started off this podcast, started off this journey, we were saying, if we make the playoffs, that's a successful season in our minds. And here we are, not only making the playoffs, but hosting a playoff game. It's really exciting times. Great crowd on hand too for Saturday night. The whole place was popping, and it seems like tickets are going fast. So get your tickets now. Tickets on sale for season ticket members through end of day tomorrow, and then I believe they go on general sale Tuesday morning, according to the club. So yeah, get your tickets while you can. Looking forward to Saturday. I haven't forgotten about our score predictions from the final day of the season. I hope you played lottery on Saturday night, because you actually correctly predicted 3 of these scores spot on. You had Portland and Avialta at 2-2, which was correct. South Georgia beating Texoma 3-0, and Omaha and Spokane drawing 2-2. I managed to get one right with FC Naples beating Charlotte 2-0. So I will take that for my last prediction of the season.
What did we do overall result wise in the sense of if we predicted draws or wins, not just scores? Were those about the same?
Yeah, other than your 3, I think you were right in every single one except for you had Ford Madison beating Richmond 2-0, and that very much did not happen with
Was
Richmond beating Madison 5-1. Um, Other
Richmond
than
did not
that,
want the wooden spoon or whatever they call it. They did not want that. They were
no.
making sure.
They showed
Making
up
sure.
and showed out against Madison, and also to keep Madison out of the playoffs. But other than that one, you were perfect through the last game of the season.
Right. Seven of eight. Is that or 6 out of 7?
Yeah, 6 out of 7.
Six. That's far better than my college football picks. I can tell you that much for free.
Nope,
Um,
sorry, you were 6 out of 8, or 6 out of 7. Sorry,
yeah, 6 out of 7.
6 or 7.
14
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
teams. It's
I
pretty
can't.
good. And
Sometimes math is
honestly,
hard.
yeah, which is what you want from your accountant, from your auditor. But honestly, that Ford Madison game was really the only one that was shocking, especially since Ford Madison would have made the playoffs with a win. Uh, if Ford Madison wins that game, they're in the playoffs. And instead, they completely just don't show up. And, the same can be said for AV Alta. They got to be kicking themselves because they, and especially because FC Naples not playing well, but we're still a very good club. They got to be going into those early games. I believe both of those were the early ones. They got to be going into those games thinking, hey, if we win, there's a lot of pressure on Charlotte, and they did not. And Charlotte probably pretty early on was like, hey, we got the 8th spot, and we're good to go. But you're right. Like that first half looked very much like a team's not wanting to make a mistake, not wanting to falter. Like I said, we could have been from 4th to 6th, and going to Spokane wasn't really something that the team probably wanted to do. So they were going to need a result, and they got it. They fought hard, and well deserved win.
Yeah. I like the lineup. I think this was Andres Farin's one of his first games he's missed all season. I think we were missing him, but somehow Max Glasser, out of all people, stepped up and really took a spot on that right wing, and he was just making some flying runs all night, especially trying to counter. Got to give a shout out, I think, to Chris Heckenberg too, because he won the initial tackle to send us on our way for the first goal to start that counterattack. But yeah, just two quality counterattacking goals, and then just the whole back line again. Dangler, Evans, Delgado had another great save diving down to his left. Cisneros and Glasser on the wings. It was a throwback and just a quality FC Naples performance to get a gritty 2-0 win. Get Carson Henderlong back on the score sheet. Not enough to get him the golden boot, sadly, but just enough to get him back on the score sheet. And yeah, looking forward to the playoffs now, getting a little bit of momentum going. I know last time we had a little bit of momentum going was against when we beat AV Alta 4-1 at home. So hopefully we can keep riding this momentum and not lose on Saturday. But yeah,
Yeah, and
what were your
I think we were critical kind of the team. The really poor shape coming into this one. And I think if you would have asked me last week when we did the podcast, does a win change your thoughts on their form? And my answer would have been no, unless I saw what I saw Saturday, which was controlling the pitch, countering when the time was right, and our back line holding firm, not allowing any goals. I think this score result is one that I'm against the playoff team, no less. I think part of the problem was we had been struggling against non-playoff teams. We lost the Westchesters really bad. Now we come in, albeit probably mathematically and form-wise, the worst team in the playoffs. We still took it to them, and I feel way better going into Saturday watching their performance on Saturday than I would have kind of with really any other results. Do you kind of feel the same way?
Yeah, especially knowing that we're going to be playing at home on Saturday now too. We've talked about our home form. We've lost 2 games all season in the league at home, which is impressive, right? I know last time I said this, we said 1 game and then we ended up losing that game. So maybe I've cursed it. Hopefully not. But yeah, I do think that will add some momentum and will kind of prove to these boys like, hey, if we defend really well, we can hit them on the counter. We know what we're capable of. Let's go out and take it to this Omaha team. We were close in the last game against Omaha, 2-1 loss after a long rain delay, but I think it's doable. And yeah, let's ride this high. So we do get Omaha now. Omaha's coming to us. What are you kind of looking forward to in this game now on Saturday?
Yeah, I talked about our form, but I'm also going to talk about Union Omaha's form too. Them drawing with Spokane also makes me feel a little bit better, because that puts them now as if you're looking just at the last 5 matches, they're now quote unquote the third best team. Uh, South Georgia Tormenta is a team that I absolutely would not want to be playing right now. They've won 4 out of 5, drawn another for 13 points. One Knoxville, 4 wins and a loss for 12. And Union Omaha for 11 points, 3 wins, 2 draws. So I'm thinking that being at home, we won 3-1. We lost on the road, but that one was kind of just like a weird game, right? Like that's one that
Right.
if that was in July, would have been a complete throwaway game. The fact that it was against the team we probably could have faced in the playoffs and potentially where we are going to play in the playoffs and that late in the year kind of made that game more important when we looked at it and evaluated it before. But it was kind of a crap situation, crap game. Like I have no problem throwing that one out the window. And the way we played Saturday, if we can move that forward, Omaha uh, has to now come to us, which, like we said, it is a massive difference. They were at home Saturday, so not too bad a travel. Only thing that would have made it better is if they were flying from Spokane. But yeah, I'm feeling confident with the way the back line looks and the way Henderlong played. I think it's really at the end of the year we're going to be pointing to Henderlong as the guy that either lifted us into a trophy or kind of didn't show up when we needed him most, which is a lot of pressure to put on one player. And obviously the back line has a lot to do with that, but we need Henderlong to be special. He was special on Saturday with 2 goals, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, he's kind of the guy too. And with this, I think it adds so much extra pressure with how we play this counterattacking style, and our chances are going to be few and far between, which means we're really going to rely on him. And he's got to rise to the challenge, which he certainly did last Saturday. So we need him again this Saturday. Looking at Union Omaha now, they are unbeaten in their last 12, and they've only lost one of their last 15 matches. So their last loss actually came on August 16th against one Knoxville, who did end up winning the league. Congratulations to them. But nonetheless, a really solid team coming in. They've really found their groove. Yes, they did draw Spokane 2-2, but they've kind of been on a tear recently. So not a team we necessarily want to face. But if you look at the playoffs now, I don't think there's a single team other than Charlotte who we would actually want to face.
Yeah, that's the point. Like, and that's kind of what you want from the playoffs. That's what makes this league really unique and fun is that, and I think we talked about this going into the MLB playoffs. We talked about anybody could win the World Series, wouldn't shock us, except for the Reds. I feel the same way about the USL League One playoffs, where anybody could win this league, and it would not shock me in the slightest, except Charlotte, who would have to beat one Knoxville on the road, and then they would have to come to us or Omaha on the road and beat us, and then most likely go to Chattanooga, Spokane, or South Georgia to win the chip. And I really do think that the winner of our side will be facing South Georgia, and I think we'll do some playoff predictions at some point. But um, so looking at this, really anybody could beat anybody on any given Saturday. They should make a movie with that title, and so yeah, Omaha not a team that you're itching to play, but the best teams always say they want to beat the best to show that they're the best, and this is an opportunity for us to do that. Um, like you said, we would have to beat probably the hottest team over the last 2 3 months, and then beat the league champions over for the year, and then whoever makes it out of that side, like that's our path, and that's what everybody's looking at right now.
Yeah, so we've got on our side of the bracket the 1 seed and the 8 seed. So one Knoxville hosting Charlotte Independence, and then we're playing Union Omaha in the 4-5 matchup. Other side of the bracket is Chattanooga in the 2 seed, Portland in the 7 seed, and then Spokane 3 seed, South Georgia Tormenta in the 6 seed. So also interesting to note here, one and done. So it's going to be one game, winner take all. If it is tied at the end of the 90 minutes, we will go to a 30-minute extra time. So 2 15-minute halves, not sudden death. So you got to play both halves. Still tied at the end of that. You're going to penalties. Nerve-wracking. But what do you think of this playoff format for the league?
Yeah, so there's only two other leagues, tournaments really in the world that do this. I know some of the cup games in Europe do the one and done, but the NFL and March Madness are the only two playoff formats in American sports that don't play series. MLS does best out of three. European competition does a home and away aggregate
Mm-hmm.
scoring, and then here we go, and it makes sense, right? The lower budgets, these teams probably don't want to be doing a home and home financially, but I think that when you do the home and home, you do get the better team, and that's kind of what makes basketball, football, or basketball, baseball, hockey unique is that the best teams at the end of the year in the Stanley Cup, World Series, NBA Finals are usually the best teams, and that's because they get opportunities to stumble. This you don't. You come out, you have a bad game, you're done. Which is totally fitting for the way this league is set up. Um, However, I would really like a home and home format. I think the MLS doing best out of three is a lot of soccer. I think that is way too much, and I'm very surprised the MLS does that. But um, it's just on brand with USL to be one and done. Doesn't matter if you had 57 points or 37 points. You show up on Saturday and you're not ready to play, you're going home.
Yeah, I for one love it, the one and done. The home and home I think is fun. It's cute, but in Europe where they do that a lot, or even in the CONCACAF Champions League, you've got a lot more home field advantage. No offense to some of the teams here, but I think the home field advantage kind of lacks, and the travel would be insane, especially in a league like this now with no conferences. If you had conferences, I think that would be a lot easier because you're limiting yourself to shorter distances. But to
Hmm.
think about Spokane and South Georgia traveling across the country each twice, it's to me not worth it. I like the one and done, winner take all, kind of like the World Cup of, all right, come in, win, and you advance, survive and advance. So I'm all for it. I like that we're also gonna get to see extra time if that does happen. Not just, okay, game's tied, let's go to penalties to figure it out. I like the idea of getting 30 extra minutes of soccer to decide a winner. I don't know if we'll see a winner or if both teams will just kind of play scared and knock the ball around. So it's going to be interesting to see what does come of any extra time, if any, across the playoffs. But yeah, looking forward to this for these playoffs. The fact that we're in them and the fact that we're hosting is still crazy to me and so exciting.
Yeah, and I think the 30 minutes of extra time would bode well for us because our favorite player could be coming off the bench late in the game or early sub for extra time. With Bachenstein, who did score his only goal, I believe, against Union Omaha. So um, I like our depth for that build out, but how's your confidence level with uh, if we have to go to penalties against Union Omaha, what's your confidence level? I think our only sample size of penalty shootouts was that 10 round thriller that we lost 10-9 to the Rowdies, where we did not save a single one. And obviously the only one we missed was the loser. Um, Delgado, I don't have his stats pulled up, but I don't believe he saved a penalty. Maybe one. He's maybe saved one all season. So what are your thoughts on that if we have to get to that point?
Yeah, I think it's such a crapshoot at that point that it's just who can control their nerves the best. We've proven we've got 10 guys or 9 guys that can step up and take a penalty, no problem, from that Rowdies game. So you like to think you like our chances. I know Henderlong took the penalty this past week. I think we've seen Jaden Onan take a penalty and Andres Farine take penalties. So there's 3 that have been solid penalty kick takers all year. You add that, I'm sure Dangler, Evans, all of those guys will be ready to go as well. Even though they're center backs. So I like our chances in penalties. I'm gonna be a nervous wreck. I don't know about you, but if we go to penalties, that'll be probably some of the most terrifying stuff this season for me.
As a club, how does the training go differently, right? This is like a unique thing in soccer. It doesn't happen often where you need to be training for penalties, right? Like obviously World Cup, you're probably doing it a little bit in preparation for the knockout stage, but that's only, usually 2 or 3 days. And we have a full week plus kind of the week before, kind of knowing that this is the setup we're going to have. Is penalty shots something that's going to be a bigger focal point, or just kind of hoping, on the training ground, or is it just hoping these guys are good enough and professional enough to step up when it matters?
Yeah, so when I played like heading into tournaments or heading into like the conference tournaments in college, we did penalties the week, no, probably like 2 weeks leading up. We did penalties to end practice every single day. Like every single session, we would end with, okay, we're going to do a mock penalty shootout. And that's what we would do to kind of get that headspace right. And it was practicing the whole thing, like a full on rehearsal of you're standing in the center circle and you have to make the long walk up to try and get you mentally prepared for that. Because that's so much of what happens, right? And that's kind of where guys get in their own heads is that long walk up. So that's what we did to prep for it. I'm sure they'll be doing something very similar and maybe even involving some sort of sports scientist or just studying the goalkeepers as well, of knowing, okay, this guy likes it. He's stronger to dive to his right. He's stronger to dive to his left. That sort of thing.
Yeah, and penalty shootouts are unique to penalty shots in the sense that, right, it's typically your best striker is taking the PK in the normal run of play, and they should be
Mm-hmm.
converting, I would say, north of 90%, right? Like anything,
Right.
I'd be curious to know, like, if there's a right, like in hockey, a goalie with a below 900 save percentage is not a very good goalie. So I imagine as a striker, like you probably need to be in the mid to upper 90s, where it's almost a guarantee that you go to the spot you're going to score. Um, but you're right, you get to this point where after those three guys, I think Henderlong, Farine, and Onan are the only three that have taken them in a game this season, that that long walk. And right when we lost to Tampa Bay, I think that there were the nerves, right? The US Open Cup, but end of the day, I think we all recognize that if we beat the Rowdies, we might, we go to the next game. We probably don't squeak by, but like the end of the road is near, and this is a totally different beast. That I think you get to penalties in round one. You're thinking, I think Naples is going into this game thinking we can win the whole thing. So the pressure is, I would say, 3 to 4 times more than what it was in that U.S. Open game.
Yeah, we always used to have the mentality too of, like, it's easy. Like, it's you've done it 1,000 times. Just step up, just bury it. Which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, and I'm sure the mentalities have changed as sports science has evolved and everything. But you'd look at the goal, you'd pick your spot and say, like, okay, goalkeeper, try and save this. And if they saved it, hats off to them. Then we got to count on our goalkeeper, which always fell on me to step up and save one too. It's tough, but yeah, penalties, no fun. And I agree. There's going to be a lot more pressure, I think, on us if we get to penalties in this case, but also a lot more pressure on Omaha as well. Let's not forget they're
Hmm.
the defending league champions, and they've got to win this basically on the road now. So a lot of pressure on them too.
And will that impact, do you think, the right? We talked about maybe a Bachchenstein coming in the 80 plus range along or early, at the end of regulation before extra time. But kind of at what point do you think that if we get to this point, obviously, hopefully we just win this in regulation and all this is just extra chat that would be useful for when we play our next game. But at what point do you think that Matt Pullen needs to start thinking, okay, can I take somebody from the back line off and put in somebody with that's a little better at taking penalties, even though that would really disrupt our shape, or keeping a
Yeah,
Farine if he's in the lineup, or owning in a little bit longer, right? He's been known to take those guys off late in
right.
games. Maybe they have to do a full 120-minute shift and then step up and take a penalty. Because that's a whole nother factor, is that these guys would have also, most of them have played 120 minutes. So that's a whole nother factor that probably doesn't get discussed by the common fan.
Right. I think at that break, when they break in between the two 15-minute halves, you're already thinking about, okay, who's going to take penalties here? And you have to know too, as a player, yes, I give me the ball, I want to let me take a penalty. When you, even if you're scheduled and you're banging them out in practice and in training sessions of, yeah, they're no problem. If you then get to the point of, okay, here we go, you're going to take the second penalty, and you're like, absolutely not, no, there's no sense in forcing it. You've got to go to the next guy on the list, because when you start to force those penalties on people, that's when things start to go south. So I think he's going to have his list of his top 5 penalty takers, and maybe, it is a striker off the bench, or maybe he's bringing guys off the bench, and I think those will come around the 117th, 118th, 119th, like super late on of, okay, here, basically we're throwing this guy out here just to take a penalty, go defend like your life depends on it, and then we're going to get you a penalty.
Yeah, no,
So
that makes sense,
looking,
and that's what makes this so much different than, that's where the coaching staff plays a pivotal role in. I like our coaching staff as much as any other staff in this league. So um, a lot of
Same.
positives.
Yeah, they've proven they're one of the best in the business this year, in my opinion. And once the season's over, whenever that may be, and hopefully that is late November now, after the championship game, we'll have to go back and just recap this whole season as a whole because it's been so fun and to see this coaching staff really evolve and take it to this league as newcomers. Been a lot of fun. Taking a look at the playoff bracket now, you want to do some bracket predictions?
Let's do it.
All right, so game one, we've got Knoxville and Charlotte. Who do you like there?
I like Knoxville 2-0. I think that that's a game that they're going to get in, get out, get their comfortable lead, sit back. I don't think Charlotte is any match. I mean, they didn't score on us. I don't think that they're a team that's going to pose much threat to Knoxville, so they're going to get their 2-goal advantage and game over.
All right. We'll go to the other top half of the bracket with Chattanooga and Portland. Who do you like there?
If you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, I probably would have said I really like Portland. This one, I'm going to go Chattanooga over Portland in a 2-2 penalty shootout. Chattanooga to win it on penalties to advance.
I
Are
like
you
it.
going to
I
give your
like it.
you're going to give your picks for Knoxville in this one?
Yeah, I guess I should. I've been thinking about this. I I'll go 2-1 to Knox. Actually, yeah, we'll go 2-1 Knoxville. I think you're right. I think Knoxville gets it done. They proved they're a really good team this past week. Yeah, we'll go 2-1 Knoxville. And then for Chattanooga and Portland, I am actually going to go Portland 3, Chattanooga 2. I think Chattanooga pulls off the upset. Or sorry, Portland pulls off the upset over Chattanooga. That's what I meant to say. Other game on that side of the bracket, we'll finish with our game. South Georgia Tormenta and Spokane Velocity.
Hard to see any other result than South Georgia getting away. I'm going to go 2-0 again for this one. South Georgia is another team that's just in such great form. I have a hard time seeing them losing to a Spokane team that it really is a night and day team. And it's not even like a home and away split thing for them. I just really don't know what you're going to get from them match day in, match day out. So, with as hot as South Georgia's been, right, and they're really so low because I think they made a deep run in the Jägermeister Cup. I think they lost in the
You're
semifinals.
thinking of Greenville.
Greenville.
Another Southern
Yeah.
team. But
My
yeah, South Georgia Tormentas,
okay.
they've just been on a tear here. I'm with you there. I think they're going to pull it off. I'm going to go 3-2 South Georgia. They win it late. So now we both have Chattanooga and South Georgia Tormenta in our final four. Who do you like out of
No,
that
you
bunch?
you have Portland. You have Portland in your you have Portland beating Chattanooga.
I do, don't I? See, I filled this out earlier, so that's what I'm going off of, and now I'm changing my mind up on the fly, which is never a good thing. I do have Portland and
Never a
South
good thing.
Georgia. I'm gonna go South Georgia Tormenta. They get it done. We're gonna go 3-1. They actually, let's go 2-2. They win it in penalties. South Georgia Tormenta in the final.
I'm gonna go to I have Chattanooga beating Portland right in the first round, and Portland's a team that doesn't lose very often, so that's why I think that's gonna need to go to penalties. I don't feel the same way about Chattanooga. I think that South Georgia goes into Chattanooga, not a very far road game, and they bury them 3-0.
So we both have South Georgia Tormenta in the final four. Let's hop down to our game, Naples and Omaha. Who do you like on Saturday?
It's gonna be a 2-1 extra time winner. We've spent a lot of time talking about penalties. I don't think we need them. I like Bachenstein to send us to the semifinals in extra time. 2-1
I love
Naples.
it. I love it. 2-1 to Naples then. Okay. So then Naples and Knoxville, what do you like there?
I think that this is a gritty 1-1 draw that sees penalties. And give me Naples because obviously I have to pick Naples to advance on penalties.
All right.
And I'm going to go one further.
I
Delgado will make 2 saves in that first five. We're only going to go 5 rounds. None of this extra. Delgado's going to come up clutch for us.
Delgado 2 saves in the semifinals. I like it. I think I'm gonna go Naples. Let's go back to when we first beat Omaha. We're gonna go 3-1 final. Naples gets it done over Omaha. No extra time needed. All this talk on penalties was for nothing. And then I think I like your 1-1 prediction. I think it's going to be wrong, though. I think Naples is going to get revenge from the first time we played Knoxville at home. We're going to win it 1-0 off a penalty kick. Naples in the final, of course, because this is an FC Naples podcast. So our finals are both now Naples against South Georgia Tormenta, which would mean Naples would host the final the weekend of November 14th. You want to go first? You want me to go first with predictions?
I'll let you go first.
I am going to go back. It's going to be another 3-1 win. When we beat South Georgia at home, it was 3-1. Or was that 2-1? I don't know. I don't care anymore. It's going to be a 3-1 winner at home in front of a sold-out crowd. Naples wins it 3-1. We're lifting the trophy.
Can I take South Georgia to win because I would be very happy to be wrong because Naples upsets them? I guess it wouldn't be an upset because Naples lifts the cup. 'Cause I really do think that it's going to be South Georgia or us that wins it. Um, so I mean, obviously, if it's Naples versus South Georgia, I'm going to go 2-1 Naples, another extra time gritty win. But if it's not Naples, it'll be South Georgia 3-0. There's my hedge on my picks.
Probably a smart move. I just went full send of Naples going to win it all, of course, because this is an FC Naples podcast. But yeah, it's these playoffs should be a lot of fun. The 2025 USL League One playoffs presented by Terminix. In case you were wondering, they're sponsored. Yeah. Any final thoughts, Paul, before we go? I think we've talked about our big win. We've done a whole playoff preview now. Looking forward to Saturday night. Get your tickets now. We will see you in the beer garden. Anything else you want to add before we go?
No, I mean, just thanks to everybody that listens every time we put one of these out. It's been awesome. We talk about it every week that it's awesome having this team here, and just another chance to, you know, show support for the club on Saturday. Only 4 teams are hosting a playoff game this weekend, so and we're lucky enough to be one of them, and we deserve to be one of them. So looking forward to a great turnout on Saturday, and not doing a postseason recap next week.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Let's keep putting that off as long as possible. Yeah, thank you everyone so much for listening. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Looking forward to Saturday night. Got another game in us. It should be a great game, and I can't believe it's all here, and I can't believe we're in the playoffs now. A long season, but it's flown by. Yeah, follow us on social media. Get in touch with the show. Looking forward to seeing you all at Paradise Coast Sports Complex on Saturday night. Until then, up the Naples. Come on, you Blues. I forgot what I said last week, and it clearly worked because we won. But whatever I said last week, I'm saying it again now. Let's go, Naples. See you all Saturday night for some playoff soccer.